let's start at the top of the outline. Starting with item number 2 here, some sample videos that I made with Videolicious. So this Videolicious app is free. There is a paid enterprise edition, not something you would buy for, say, a class, but for a whole school district. It really is meant to be more for the outside of academics. A lot of real estate companies, corporations, entrepreneurs, they create essentially newscasters out of all the personnel. People that are carrying an iPhone or an iPad, they can go out in the field, film something, and kind of be a mobile newsroom, if you will. So I'm modifying that to fit the K-12 world so that we could have our students going out with their mobile devices, their smartphones most likely because they're easy to fit in their pocket, or an iPad, and shooting video and putting together a newscaster-style report. So we're taking something meant not for academics and bringing it in, and it's something that I did for many years at Amherst Middle School, and it works well. So the catch is the videos you make are under 60 seconds. So you're not going for a long documentary. You're going for a short snippet, a little video blog, if you will, that's 60 seconds or less. And it features 10 or less shots. What we mean by a shot is either a photograph or a video clip. So I'm going to be making them live in front of you so you can see the process of how simple it is. But I like to start at the end first and show you some finished products. So this one is a little bit longer than 60 seconds because I work with the people that make Videolicious, and they've given me some access to kind of make longer documentaries. So this I think is about 2 or 3 minutes, but it gives you a taste of how it can be used to tell a story. So the concept here of this one is, as a middle school technology teacher, I taught Lego robotics. Has anybody ever done anything with Lego robotics? Mindstorms? Okay, a little bit, a few people. Try to tell a parent what is involved that has never themselves gone through this when 20, 30 years ago they were in school. It's hard to convey that message unless I have them as a captive audience in front of me. So my goal as a teacher was to, in 1 or 2 minutes here, email them a video that they could watch and understand what their children are doing with STEM robotics, with science, technology, engineering, and math. So as a storyteller, I thought to myself, what would make the most sense? I got to get a picture of the kids' hands working on a robot, get kids working together, get a shot of the line on the floor, show the screen of the computer so you can see there's icons that you move around. So I had to think in advance as a digital storyteller what shots would help sell that story. Those could be photographs, they could be video clips, or a combination of both. And then I put it together and I narrated in it. So without further ado, if we have our audio up, we'll check out my video blog post about this particular event, which was the line tracker event. Hi everybody, it's Mr. Z, and we're back today taking a look at what our current robotics engineering competitions look like. Now we're going to take a look here at our floor competition. This is where we're doing the line tracker program. You're going to see we have a black and a white line on the floor, and the goal is to just, of course, follow that line. Seems kind of simple, but the students quickly realize that light values range from 0 to 100, the lower numbers being black and the higher numbers being white. So technically you can have your robot follow this line as long as you do the numbers correctly. We're keeping track of everything on our spreadsheet so we can see what scores the students are receiving. And up on the big screen, they get to take a look at the results as they come in, live in real time. And we do keep score by using the countdown timer. And we use the time on the clock with a multiplier to get our points for it. So here you're seeing the students have a conversation about what number is just right. You have to find your low number and your high number in order to find the sweet spot, the perfect number to be programming with. And then through collaboration, the students have to figure out what would make the most sense with our lighting conditions to tell our robots what color is black and what color is white. They program them into the Lego NXT robots that we have and then try them out on the floor. So this is an MST, or also a STEM, STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math type of competition, and it's really been a lot of fun. The next event we're going to be doing does follow along the same idea using that light sensor, but it's going to add on another sensor too, which would be the ultrasonic sensor, and get the robots to stay on a table and not fall off the platform while they are being tested. So that's a quick look at what we're doing right now in our robotics curriculum. I hope you enjoyed this video blog post. And again, this has been Mr. Z. Thanks for watching and have a great day. So you can probably tell I was doing the holding of the camera technique. It's okay, it doesn't look as professional.
Rob Z here for RobZTraining.com.
I prefer to use some sort of a bracket or I have a little tripod that I use, or even this here. This little guy is a $10 solution made by Anchor. It's a plastic and metal stand, and you can see the angle changes on it. So if I need it to be kind of at a typing angle, I can make it wide, or the way I would have used it would have been more like this, so it's standing up more, and then your device can fit on it like so. So that's a handy-dandy little $10 solution Of course, it's got to be sitting on something that's at the right desired height.
Where would I get something like that?
Amazon. And I might actually, in my outline, I might have a link to it. If not this one, in the second workshop after this one, I do. So I use it a lot of times, mostly for iPads, but you could use for any tablet device. And because it is adaptable, you could be using the full-size iPad, the iPad mini, the iPhone, the iPod Touch, you know, pretty much anyone, any screen size, any thickness, because it's not locked into having to be a certain style. I tend to, with the accessories that I buy, I like to have them be general, so that when Apple comes out with a new device, and now I have one that's thicker, you know, it still fits into the device that you've invested your money in. So that's a good little $10 one, and I might have it. Do I have it in this one? If it's not in this one, it's in the next one. Yeah, it's not in this one. So in the workshop after this one, I have links to all the accessories that I really like to use.
You can look at those on that YRZ training. It has all the links on it, so you can see all the presentations for today. One thing I wanted to say about the video is, when first starting making videos, you are so critical of yourself. Oh my goodness, you could hear that Rob interrupted himself and he sort of talked over his words. I think I recorded my first couple of videos for a blog like 10 times because I could hear a train in the distance at my house, or the cord was not plugged in, so it sounded echoey. And I would continue and continue and continue to record it. But the thing is, you're putting this up there for parents. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not a thesis presentation. It's quickly grabbing the parents, getting them to know what's happening in your classroom. So when you're making these, give yourself a little flexibility and not so much self-judgment, and just go ahead and record it.
Right. Just think like you're talking like you are right now to a group of people, even though you're by yourself in a room recording. And you have to get over that self-consciousness piece as best as you can, so that you don't think, oh my God, people are going to see that and notice I stumbled that word. Most likely you're noticing that, but other people wouldn't even catch that. And I've had to tell that to students too, that will want to stay after school to re-record their screencast so it sounds just right, but it ends up being, you know what, it's not going to matter as much. And that's why I like to have peer review happen in place too. I use Edmodo, which I know the man earlier was talking about Schoology. I like Edmodo because kids will make videos like this, rough drafts, put them up on Edmodo, have 5 or 6 kids comment about what needs work, what's good about it, and then they kind of realize, oh, okay, they're not all picking up on that spot where I kind of, you know, was almost about to sneeze. Nobody really said anything, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. So now you have your peers validating that in a digital way, and in my case, I have 180 kids on the roster. I made one group with 180 kids in that class, and there we have 179 kids looking at that and critiquing on it, and you couldn't do that face-to-face. That's using the technology in a way that I couldn't get 180 kids in one room all at the same time because they're from different days and different class periods. But you can leverage the technology in that way to do things that you couldn't do without it. And that's why the one person here that's from Oakfield-Alabama is about to find out. I'm a huge fan of Edmodo as a teacher, and I can't see living without it. That's why as tech director now in Oakfield, I decided we're buying the premium package. And we're rolling it out this year. Throughout the year, it'll be a gradual rollout to all the teachers to be able to use it so that they have the ability to create a blended classroom. Not just in this room, but also on Saturdays and on weekends and during study halls. So you can still access stuff in the class. So that was a little bit of a tangent there I went on, but I thought it would fit in there nicely because, again, you gotta get over that piece about it's something recorded. That means it's permanent and it's out there on the web. But yeah, so what? There's a lot of stuff out there on the web, and we don't think necessarily how are the students in the audience perceiving it when we teach live to them. So you almost have to adapt that mindset when you're teaching digitally to them. Same thing. Don't worry about the ums and the ahs and getting it perfect. As John Bergman always says, he's one of the pioneers of the flipped classroom. Does it have to be perfect, or do you need it by Tuesday? Like, in other words, just get over it and move on to the next thing. Otherwise, you'll really be holding yourself back and not be able to accomplish as much. So there's a couple other example videos there. I don't really need to show them all to you. They're all that same kind of style. Trying to think. No, that one is coming up in the next workshop. These are all the same kind of idea. They're video blog posts that I've made where I'm narrating and showing stuff that's going on in the class. So again, I have the links there. If you guys want to check them out after the fact, you can do that. So now let's jump into about the Videolicious app. It's been around since about 2009 or so, and you can see the most recent update is 2015. They have over 2 million downloads. It's become very popular. In fact, they're now on version 3. The app icon looks like this. Notice it does say free, and it's designed for both the iPhone and the iPad. The premium edition I was talking about earlier, the paid benefits here, would be if you were an organization that, and it could be an entire school district that wants to make it available to every teacher and every student within the organization. You are talking a couple $1,000s a year as a subscription, so it's not something you would get into lightly, but I always recommend try it in those pilot groups, have students, have teachers try it out, If they're okay with making 60-second or less videos, it's good to go. It becomes to when your students really want to make, long newscasts with it, or magazine-style shows that you kind of need to go above that 60-second limitation. But some of the paid features you would get, I think they had a nice concise list here, is just unlimited things. So unlimited sound bites. It comes with music built in too, so you don't have to necessarily get music for your productions. You can put in logos, do audio mixing, things like that, and that always pops up too. So if you are interested in that more from a management standpoint, where you have a dashboard, and they gave this to me to try out. It was kind of nice having all of my students to be able to record and not worry about where do I upload it or what account do I send it to. They just simply use the app on their device, and by using it, it automatically saves their finished productions to the cloud. And then I would have access here on the dashboard screen to download the ones that I would want to use in our live morning shows that we created at Amherst Middle. So it's kind of like having a virtual newsroom where every student was a news reporter creating content that then we could use in our morning show.
The questions.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I heard you right. You only get the dashboard when you have the unlimited version.
The premium, yes, when you're paying for an enterprise package.
So
Yes.
how do you get your students to post to the same spot if you don't have that?
What I now use is Google Drive. They will make the Videolicious video like I'll be doing here in a few minutes, and then it saves it automatically to the camera roll. So once it's on the camera roll, now you can use a variety of apps. I like to use Google Drive. They'll log in with their Google Drive accounts, upload it, and then now it's a file that's stored in their Google Drive account.
And that is the platform that Amherst Central Schools use. They use Google as their email and their Google Drive, and that's what they use.
Yes. How many are doing that in their district, using Google Apps for Education? Okay. Is anyone using the Microsoft solution to that, the competing one? Okay. The good news is Google now has made it unlimited storage, so you don't even have to worry about running out of space. I remember years ago your email inbox would get filled and you couldn't get new emails. All those days are gone. When you've adopted the Google platform, in schools at least, you're talking unlimited access for storing all of your documents, all of your emails, everything. So it's really been very nice to be able to have kids create whatever, and I don't have to worry about clearing it out for the next year and making more space. All those concerns are gone. So the students will do that. They'll upload it to their Google Drive account, so they have ownership of it, and then they share that document with me. Because that means that any time that student could revoke that access from me so I don't have access to their files, and I like that as an educator and as an administrator. I want the child to have access, be the owner of that document, and they get to control if I get to see it or not, rather than me take a copy and now there's multiple copies out there. So that has been our way of doing something like this. Instead of using the Videolicious paid platform, I just simply used a Google Drive folder where they all were stored. And I used to have a link to that. I might have that link coming up here too to show you that. All right, so what you need to know about the Videolicious app: it works on all iOS devices running iOS 7 and higher. The reason why I put that is my 9-year-old daughter has my old iPod Touch. It's one of the older ones that does not have iOS 7 on it, and you can't upgrade it anymore. So I know there's instances like that out in schools where you have older equipment, most likely iPod Touches, that do not have the latest iOS. So you'd be at some disadvantage if that fit the case there. But if you have a newer device, iPads or iPad minis or iPhones, it will run on that. There is no Android version. Usually that question comes up. They've been saying for years that they've been considering moving to that platform as well, but there are just so many variations when it comes to camera hardware when you're on Android that they haven't invested the time and money to do that yet. So right now it's just iOS. We're looking at, I talked about the 10 shots, maximum length of 60 seconds. It uses your existing camera roll photos and videos. So stuff you would take using the general camera app, photos and videos sitting on your camera roll, those would be fair game. You can pull those into Videolicious. The one thing that's interesting is you can use music that you obtain through iTunes. So in a lot of family videos, especially that I make, I need just the right song. So I'll go to iTunes and I'll buy it for $1.99 or $1.29, and I'll use that. For example, when we were in Philadelphia for the ISTE conference, we were running up the steps like in the movie Rocky. Everyone know what I'm talking about there? Right, so I needed that song, so I purchased that song. And I think I still have it on here, so I can show you that today. So that was the song that I chose from my iTunes library on the device. It comes with 9, which is an odd number, but 9 royalty-free clips you can use, just kind of different genres of music. So you could use that. That way you can get around any copyright concerns. But if you do want to purchase something from iTunes, you can. So that would be that piece there. See specific frequently asked questions about Videolicious. Since we don't have a lot of time today to dig into the real nitty-gritty, I wanted to give you this link so you can look at the commonly asked questions like do I need an account or not need an account, those kinds of things. It's really covered very nicely here in this concise list. So we're going to view some sample video recipes and creation tips on their website. So Videolicious, the folks there realize that their app is being used all different parts of the world. In K-12 and corporate, real estate, entrepreneurs, business owners, anybody that wants to create a video about something, about products. And being that the iPhone is usually the device people carry around with them on a constant basis, it's easy to snap shots and get all sorts of different footage from wherever you go. So these are some really great examples to take a look at. Some of them are educational in nature, like I show my students the one about creating about recycling. We call that an advocacy video, something that you're maybe a little bit passionate about and you want others to also be passionate about it. Well, with the whole concept of social media nowadays, instead of just posting words, let's have you make a video where you can talk and you can put music in. You can make it a more memorable production for someone to look at. So I have my students take a look at these different video recipes here, getting some ideas about all the different ways that they can use this app. So that's really good, especially when I'm dealing with middle school kids and they have, they tend to make what they just saw. So they'd make a video on Lego robotics because that's what they just saw. But I want them to really expand out and think about, as a digital storyteller, what are all the things in your life you could make a video about. So that was a good link to show them, was the video recipes. The creation tips on the website comes more to the how-to, the specific different tasks you can do. And you talk about using multiple sound bites. The Newsmaker style video is what we're going to create in this session today. Narrated slideshows where you're maybe camera shy and you won't want to be seen, but you want to just use your voice to narrate. So great videos to check out there for some other ideas too. Some student samples now. The digital storytelling project. Let's look at the video. This, I believe, is the one about the end of year. Ben created one about...
Hi guys.
He had to create a video about his experience of his favorite project that he did with me during the 20 weeks in our middle school tech class. He really liked making audio podcasts, so I told him, you're a digital storyteller now. Create a story for future students so they can understand all the ins and outs of what's involved with making a podcast. Because you kind of have to sell it, because other students have a choice of what projects they make, and let's pretend you want to convince them that they should make an audio podcast. And really show them why you enjoyed it so much. So rather than doing that in an essay format or doing it in a traditional method, the idea was, let's do it in a multimedia fashion where we can really capture the essence of what you enjoyed.
This is Ben, and today I'm going to read you a story about recording a podcast. Here are all the kids creating wonderful projects in this room. In particular, here is Duncan. He is reading the directions to record a podcast. Here he is. He's on step 7. This is the step of recording a podcast. Here they are, walking into a quiet room to film their podcast. If it wasn't quiet, they would hear many noises from the outside world. Here they are pressing a button, and here they are filming their podcast. They're laughing, talking, having a good time. Here they are walking to Mr. G's desk to see if they can get Mr. G's approval. Oh, looks like Mr. G doesn't like it too much. Aw, poor boys. Well, better look next time. That's my podcast. Thanks.
I had to figure out what he wanted to shoot, what video clips, what photographs and whatnot would help tell that story. So that's where you start as a digital storyteller. The concept has to come in your mind first. I have them create a shot list where they do it in Google Docs, so it's easy then to share with me. And they show me a list of their shots they want to capture. And then I force them to get some wide, medium, and tight shots. A wide shot would be like that pan of the classroom, where you get an idea like, okay, we're in a classroom, I can see there's lots of kids around and there's computers. So you get a general idea of where you're at. Usually you start with those because it helps establish the location. Then you do some medium shots, like maybe the kids, 2, 3 of them in a group talking around, holding papers, showing that they're working together. And then you want those tight shots where you saw the screen where his finger was touching the red button on the record button there. So that makes more for visual interest. And it happens to us all the time when we watch TV shows and we don't even recognize it, but filmmakers, people telling digital stories will do that. It usually starts with an outside shot of a building, and then you see people, and then you see close-ups. And that's the whole idea of wide, medium, and tight shots. So they create that list, I have to approve that list, and then they have the ability to go out, if need be, outside of the classroom and record that footage. Then it comes down to assembling it, and that probably takes less than 1 class period, as you'll see me create one today. And then it's a matter of sharing it and uploading it. So really the majority of the work, the bulk of the work is taking place before you do that narration. because you have to choose as a digital storyteller what shots are really going to help sell the story and convey the information that you want to convey. And we even get into a little bit talking about angles too of composition, where if you were to film somebody up high like this, down low, that shows an element of power, that the person you're looking at is kind of powerless because they're kind of shorter. Where the opposite, if you were to record with an upwards angle, you're showing someone is very powerful. Think about the judge in a courtroom is usually elevated up high. That's to show importance of that person. So we talk about those kind of hidden pieces, and I know that ties into the whole ELA piece. I'm not sure which Common Core standard it hits, but I know that would be part of a digital media or a media literacy portion, possibly the ELA is talking about ways that media is used to convey non-spoken things. So let's see, we're at the student samples, the lesson plan. I wanted to show you the format that I like to use. I use a Google Doc in a 2-table format, so that on the left-hand side are the steps, and when a step involves a video clip, and I'm not sure if these still work, let's see if it does. Because this is going beyond 2 years now, and I've switched to where I store videos. Yeah, this is storing it in screencast.com. I used to store them here. I now store all my video clips in Google Drive because of the unlimited storage. But when they're at this step, they'll hit play. Okay, so they'll hear me.
Okay, so I have a blank Google Doc open. I'm
I'm
going to click on the title and rename this as my shot speaking into a mic. Another
So I call
tight
this
shot.
teacher on demand. This is the student is ready for a particular part of the project. I'm one person in a room of 20-some kids, so I can't deliver that lesson one-on-one all the time, face-to-face, but this way I can. I can do it digitally. Also, the student could be learning from me maybe before class meets, from home the night before, or in study hall, or on the bus to soccer practice, or wherever. They have ability to get you as their teacher 24/7 because they're getting the digital you instead of the live face-to-face you. And I'm not saying that we're replacing teachers, because you could say, well, everybody's just going to watch videos and now we don't have to hire teachers. Well, you still have to hire teachers to make this and to guide students along the way. This is what I would call blended learning. They have me as their face-to-face teacher, but they also have me as their digital teacher. So I'm outsourcing myself to myself. I'm not outsourcing myself to somebody else. That fear usually comes up, especially in a room of educators, thinking, now this kind of stuff's going to replace us. But I think you can never replace the teacher, because I've established the relationship with that child face-to-face that allows me to just throw a video link their way, trust they can watch it, and trust that they'll ask me if they didn't understand it, rather than just struggle through it and just stay quiet. So the relationship piece has to be there, which is what you get face-to-face, in order to make the digital stuff happen. So that's why really blended approach is
And
important.
although it's being taught this way, Rob has to teach the students when he's a fresh batch, this is how we're going to do. This is very procedural. So reviewing those procedures, what we do, how you're going to be independent, how you're staying accountable. And he's middle school. Think about the age frame of those kids. They're ready to go off in any which direction. And some people are on task, some people are not on task. But so they're incorporating those different pieces together and looking at this. I think it's in the next class, the next section, but Rob had jury duty.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that.
Yeah, so it's in the next course that he's doing. But this is one of the reasons why he sort of got into this flipped learning and blended learning, because he was going to be out for an extended period of time. He got grand jury duty. He was so lucky for that.
And it's a funny story, because I did that out of necessity, because I wasn't going to be in my classroom, so I wanted to make recordings like that. But then when I was back, I thought, you know what, I'm not going to stop doing that. I'm going to keep doing that. Because now by outsourcing myself to myself, the kids can watch that when they need to, and then I can walk around the room and I can have conversations with people and develop relationships and do that, instead of being like I'm doing right now, the one person in front of the room and everyone has to be following along at my pace. I'd rather have you all going at your pace if you were the students in the class. So this allows you to be able to do that. So after lunch, the session that's in this room, we'll talk about that, about making those kinds of screencasts. The one you just saw I made with my laptop, but I'm going to be talking about primarily making those with iPads, since as of 2010, the iPad tends to be a more preferred way for teachers to make their screencasts, because it has the mic built in, it has the camera built in, touch screen is nice to draw on it with your finger, gives you a lot of advantages to make screencasts.
Just a quick question. So this is a Google Doc.
Yes, you're
And
looking at a
then
Google Doc,
How do you
yep.
put the video within that Google Doc like you did?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. What I will do is get a, let's do this.
Just get a link for it.
Let's do this. I'm going to make a new row below. All right, and I'll say let's make a step 14. So I like to have some sort of an image there for it. So I'll do a Google image search and I'll say let's look for a play button. And we'll find something that we are happy with as a workable play button. Let's say I like that blue one. I'm going to go to view image. I'm going to right click, copy that. Actually, I might have to save it. I have to do it the long way. All right, I'm going to save it to my computer, save it to my desktop, that play button. And now let's go back to here. Let's go to Insert Image. I want to upload it. This is the long way. Normally you can right click and copy. Oh, because it's an SVG file. That might be why. The one I picked may not be it's not a valid file format. Of course, the one I picked, right? Let's pick one that's something, view image. I can tell up here if it's, I don't know what that one is. You know, let's search it this way. Play button, JPEG. That way it will likely give us files that are going to be JPEGs only. If it's gonna take us to there, right click, copy image. Let's see if we can copy it. Sometimes we can copy stuff and not do the long way. Right click and paste. Okay. This is why we have the ability to go back and grab something else.
How many buttons can you pick before the right one happens?
Trying to see if I can see if it says in there, because this is probably something common people do and they want you to buy these images here. Well, let's do this. Instead of wasting time on that, I'm going to just steal what I already have on the screen. I'll just steal that one, copy it, come down here and paste it. All right, so same idea. I got that image off, from a Google image search like I was trying to do there. So now I need to put the link on that, make sure nothing's on it. So I will first of all have open in another tab. Which one was it here? I think it was number 5 we did. I'll have open the place where I'm storing my video. This is the place I'm storing this one on screencast.com. It could also be a Google Drive video, which is what I do nowadays since Google Drive is free. So that's the link to this video. I'll copy it. And now I'll go back here to that, right click on it and say link, and I'll paste it in. So there's the link to that video. So now it works as a clickable link. So in the future, if something changes, which it happens all the time, maybe Google now changes how their toolbar looks. So I can't tell everybody go to File and drop down because it wouldn't make sense. I'll make a new screencast, and then I will right click on it, link, and I will change it. I'll delete it and put the new link in. So this Google Doc link never changes. Everybody still can use this doc. But as I discover stuff, I can granularly change it within the steps. I showed a lot of teachers that at Amherst, and they were very happy with that because then when things change, you're not reinventing the wheel. You can still keep the link to that Google Doc forever, but just within it, change the small little pieces.
And it is front-loading your lesson a lot because when you're making these, it takes a lot of time and effort to build this. But like Rob said, as things change and you need to tweak the specific lesson, you just go back through and edit the parts that need to be edited. So then you have that when you get the next group of students, for example, the middle school students that he has, a new section comes in, that project's still there. One of the other things we might want to talk about the dates, how you don't put like specific.
Yes, when you record those screencasts, don't say things like, all right, 4th period class, welcome to our fall class where we're going to talk about our, blah, blah, blah. Because you just dated that video. You said when it was from. So don't say class period numbers, don't say the time of day, don't say the course name.
I want it by Tuesday.
Yeah, like what I'll do if I'm making a video, let's say on Edmodo here, which is what we use, I might say, now on the left-hand side, click on the name of your group. I'll do that, and I'll be hovering my mouse over it. I won't say the name of it because next time it might be called something else. So you kind of talk generically in that sense. And you say on the assignment spot here where this student listed, notice that it says like, reply, and share. And so I won't make reference to Mr. whatever that is there because that might not be the first post that they see next time. So kind of future-proof yourself so that you don't have to re-record videos down the road. You can just recycle videos if they still work, if they still make sense. And you'll know it because the students now will be, in my case, I had 180 of them trying it. And after a couple of them suddenly say, I didn't see the blue button. You were talking about click the blue button when you're ready. I didn't see it. And I go back and say, oh, they changed that. It's now the red button. So I'll go in and make the change real quick, make a new video, throw it in, and then the rest of them do not even know that I made that change. So you always have those trailblazers in class. I call those our beta testers. They are the high-achieving students that will let you know that something's not just right. And they realize that early on in the school year, so then they kind of are proud of that fact. And they say, hey, Mr. Z, I saw you posted something for Tuesday. I checked it out. This didn't work. You might want to check that link again. And so you have them telling you what to look at, if there's something that is off of your radar. So that's a whole other workshop, is a whole piece of Edmodo. But just realize, those of you that are Facebook users for social purposes, Edmodo is the academic networking piece that's just like social networking piece. It works the same way. In fact, I like this much better than Schoology because I find it easier to follow. There's a lot less on the screen. Schoology to me is like a whole learning management platform like Blackboard or Angel from years ago when some of us took online courses and you had to manage all that. This, you can just jump right in and use it, and that's what we teach at Canisius. Our grad program is totally hosted on Edmodo, not Desire to Learn, which Canisius bought and wants everyone to use. We're kind of special. They let us use our own choice, and we decided to use Edmodo for that. All right, so back to the outline here. We have tips on capturing footage. I started talking about that before, the wide, medium, and tight. A great video also to watch is the rule of thirds. Anybody familiar with the rule of thirds? So a couple of head nods. If you're going to compose video, see if I can jump to a spot where he shows it here. Imagine you have a tic-tac-toe board on your screen. You want to line people up, not in the smack dab center of the screen, but on one of those lines, kind of off-centered a little bit for visual. Yeah, you can actually see, here's good, the suggested videos show it. This shot to leave words here is so that the eyeballs are off to the one side. Here the girl is off to the side, so you can see what's kind of behind her. Another reason for doing that is the eye line. Usually the eyes of the person go right through there. So when you're figuring out you may chop the top of their head off if you get really close, but the lines of the eyes are usually what you go with the top line right up here. The bottom line here, you don't want to put anything beneath that because that's where you might have lower third graphics, which I'm seeing if I can, like this is an example of a lower third graphic where something's at the bottom of the screen. So real good video by, I've never met the man, but I feel like I have. I watch his videos all the time. He's a video producer and he produces all sorts of documentaries and things, and it talks about really using iOS devices for video production. So I like to follow him. You can see there's a button there to subscribe if you're interested as well, and he makes little 1 to 2 minute videos like that that help you and you can share with your students about composing video. And another pet peeve of mine is all video should be shot in landscape wide mode only. When I go out somewhere and I see someone taking pictures or videos like this, it bugs me. Everything should be this way. Because when you're making video productions like this, it's got to fill the screen up and you don't want to have the black bars on the sides. So all your video and photos should be shot this way. Students will forget and they'll do what they're most familiar with, which is take pictures and videos this way. Then they come back, show me their footage, and I say, well, go back out and redo all that footage again because you forgot. You got to do everything the landscape way, the wide way. So that's something to remember, especially when you're doing video production like this. So a couple of microphone options we have, and how we doing? Okay, we're doing all right.
The kids just use their iPads to shoot the video? Or?
Yes, I was fortunate to have 20 iPad minis for them to use in class. But a lot of them had their own iPhones, and they would prefer to use that, so I would let them use that in place.
And then how would they edit it and piece it together?
Videolicious does the editing for you. When I do the demonstration here, you'll see what I mean by that. It's basically 3 main steps. And the third step is Videolicious, putting the video clips and the photos in the spots that you want them in.
Okay.
It's a different workflow. If you're familiar with like iMovie, which involves a timeline.
I'm actually familiar with Windows Movie Maker.
Okay, similar kind of thing. Anything that is a traditional non-linear editor, which means you have a timeline, and you drop video clips and photographs on the timeline, and you can rearrange them, and you can chop them. That's a different workflow. That takes time to do. As a producer, you have to sequence everything out. With Videolicious, what's unique about it is you edit as you go. In the sense, you decide when that picture is going to come on screen, and you decide when the video clip starts. You're recording it while you're editing it all at the same time. And it's hard to say that and have you mentally understand that. So when I do the demonstrations, that'll make more sense. So this is what we call rapid video production. It doesn't take the time of the traditional timeline-based editing, which is a lot of finicky kind of stuff. All right, so we are looking at microphone options. The reason why I like to recommend external microphones is these mics are unidirectional mics on here. And on the iPhone, there's actually 3 of them, front, back, and bottom. The problem is they don't know where to record, so they'll equally pick up sound from all 360 degrees all the way around it. If you're in a quiet room, kind of like this, it's not too bad. Within, I always say, an arm's reach, then you're okay. But if you're beyond an arm's reach, typical kid's arm, maybe 2 feet, 1.5 feet there, it's going to pick up noises that you really don't want. And then it's going to be difficult to find a quiet spot, especially if it's a room full of kids. So that's where these handheld microphones help, because you can adjust the sensitivity so that that mic only will pick up when it's an inch or 2 from your mouth, and it rejects noises from everywhere else because it can't hear it. So the mics I'm going to show you here are made by a company called iRig. And we're looking at good, better, and best. Let's start at the best, which is, let's see what Amazon price is nowadays, $99. All right, that's the best one. it's all digital, meaning if you can see as I hover over here, the cables it comes with are the 9-pin digital cable and also a full-size USB. So you can use this mic with your laptop or desktop, but you could also use it with your iOS device, with the newer ones that have the lightning connector on the bottom. Whenever you're connecting digitally, that's the best way to go, because now the hardware, this phone itself, is not responsible for encoding that audio as it comes in. The mic itself is doing that work. So it tends to sound much better, more clean sound, more of a, we could call maybe CD quality sound versus FM radio style sound. So it's, you know, not a huge difference between the two, but if you're an audiophile and you know what to listen for and you're all about fine quality audio, you do want to have a digital microphone. So for $99, this is a good handheld one, very durable. What I like about it is it has, if I can hover over it, right underneath the logo where it says iRig mic, there's a little dot there. That's an LED. And that LED has 3 different colors that it lights up in. When you plug it in, it goes blue to let you know that it is receiving power from your device. Then when you use an app that allows that has a microphone recording component to it, it'll light up green. And green means the level is good. You're not, as you're talking in it, you'll see it light up green. That means your levels are nice and clear. But if you're holding it too close or you have the sensitivity cranked up too high, it'll turn red. So you know that that's called clipping in digital terms. So by looking at the color of that mic as you're talking, you know if it's green, you're good to go. But if it's going red, you need to adjust that dial a little bit. And you can't see it because on this one that you'd have to flip the mic over. There's a dial that goes a full 360 degrees from real quiet to real loud. So you have ability to change that depending on your environment. If it's a loud environment like a classroom, you might really bring that level down so that it's only picking up what's right in front of it. But if it's a quiet location and you want to have the mic not in the shot, a lot of times we'll do that. Like if I was recording Elaine here and she was doing an interview segment and I wanted to not show that mic in there, I could put it down low on the ground and I could crank up the sensitivity on it so she could talk and it would pick up that noise. So I've used it in both situations, in noisy and quiet environments, and that's why I like this one the best. So if you have the money to do it, especially if you can just get one for the classroom, for 99 bucks, that's a good one to go with. The second down from there would be there's good, better, best, so this would be the better, would be the analog version of that mic, and this one plugs in using that kind of connection. So it uses the headphone jack to plug in, and it also then leaves another open jack there so you can plug in this mic and then also plug in a pair of earbuds so you could listen live while you're talking. And not all apps support that, certain ones do, so while you're recording you can actually hear your own voice through earbuds as you're speaking. It looks kind of funny if you're on camera doing that, but at least it's a way for you to test out the mic and see before you ever hit record, you see how it sounds. So they actually lowered the price on that one. That's $39. That's pretty good. So if that's $39, then what is this one going to be, the entry-level one? That one is, oh, look at that, $2 less. So I would definitely go for the middle one. This one here, it comes in many colors, kind of gimmicky. They made it with colors. And the other difference, too, is the slider switch is either high or low instead of high, medium, and low. So really, when the price comes down that closely, I would say skip the bottom one there. So either this one, which is $39, here's the beauty of Google Docs. Now that's updated for everybody. And this one here is now $99, so now you have the right information. See, that's why I like it. This is a living document. It's not a hard copy that I handed out to you and you all have the wrong information now. So you can change it on the fly like that.
Before these conferences, Rob always sends me. We go through and check things out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, change the district I work in because that changed again.
Yeah.
Change the district I worked in, that changed again. We laugh with continuous documents.
And how about, is anybody out there a music teacher or work with stage mics or things like in the auditorium, like PA system mics, anything like that? No? All right, this is more of a unique case, but those that do like to use stage mics with, they're called XLR connections. It's the long cables that you use for like an auditorium kind of thing. This allows you to plug those professional grade mics into this little device, which is a converter, and then as you can see, it has the regular headphone jack that plugs into your device. So I've used this to get good quality audio from microphones that we typically use for school musicals or newscasts and things like that. It allows you to use that with more consumer grade equipment. So that's a little converter box there that I like to throw out there. So now for some demonstrations using the free version. We have what I call 3 different levels. Basic is slideshow style, no camera, no mic. I just want to simply make an assembly of clips together. So I will start, do I have time to do all 3? Yeah, I do. I'll start with that level first. So I'm going to flip over here and you're looking at now the screen of the iPad mini. A little side note too, how am I doing this? All right, because this is done pretty much in real time. And to prove that to you, I always like to do this. Put the photo up there and you can see pretty quickly. All right, there's very little latency here. So what I do here is actually coming through. And here's the good news, this is not relying on Wi-Fi. There are apps out there, and I used them at conferences before. Reflector is one, and Air Server is another. Has anybody ever used or heard of those? All right, those allow you to walk around the room with this and demonstrate it there and not be tethered by this cable. So that's an advantage there because I could actually walk around and show you guys up close my screen and all that. But it relies on the Wi-Fi being good, like good Wi-Fi for this device and good Wi-Fi for this device on the same Wi-Fi network. And that Wi-Fi network would have to be configured in a way where it's not blocking ports, so your IT people can figure out if that's the case or not. Most of the schools I've been at, they block it all, so the devices can't see one another. So to get around that limitation, I want to do it hardwired in a way like this, where it's very real time, no delay. So you can do that now with newer devices by using QuickTime.
The funny thing is that at technology conferences, when you want to show this, they usually have the worst Wi-Fi
Right.
ever.
Right, and I can never rely on
Florida
that.
Technology conference in ISTE, and they truly had the poorest connection, so we always had to bring the hotspot to be able to showcase this. But a good example, one that we could have used that today, is during the keynote speaker, when he was doing the app walking around.
Yeah, it would have been nice to
That
see
would've been
his
nice for
screen.
everyone to be able to see his screen and what he was seeing on there, but to have reflector, he would have needed to use that.
Right. So to get around the whole Wi-Fi issue, you can do it hardwired using on a Mac that's running the latest operating system. So it's got to be a Yosemite or there's one even newer than that. And you use QuickTime, which comes on every Mac. How many people have used that or known about that? Okay, so you use QuickTime, you launch it, then you go to File, New Movie Recording, even though we're not going to record anything. So you pick New Movie Recording, and then the window pops up where it lets you choose. I think the default, first of all, it goes to is your, got to be careful here, is your FaceTime camera. So you just change that to now this one, the name of your iPad, and now you're looking at a screen of your iPad up there. And I like going like this, making it full screen, so it takes away all the distractions. So now you're just looking at a clean image of the screen that I'm working with here, and it does it in real time. So that's a very helpful thing. You can't do it, unfortunately, on Windows. It's only an Apple thing, but that way we don't have to rely on any special Wi-Fi, and I can work within the confines of the length of this cable.
So you can use your phone the same way.
I could do exactly the same thing with the phone, yes. It has to be one that has the newer, which most of them are nowadays. It used to be the 30-pin, the wider one, if you have like an iPhone 4 or an iPad 3 or earlier. So those do not work because that was an analog connection. But now with this lightning cable, you can do that. All right.
Does this terribly, I was asking about the microphone too, does it terribly drain your power? Make sure
I don't think the mic itself does, no. Just the fact of having the screen on and having the camera running, that would eat your battery more so. Yeah. All right, so here now we're going to go to the Videolicious app, which I have in this folder. And we launch it. And it starts out with step 1. There are 3 main steps. I'm not always going to use all 3, especially for this level 1 basic video I'm going to make. This is just going to be a way for me to assemble photos and videos together. No talking involved in it, just want to put them to music. So step 1 is choosing those shots. So in the bottom center of the screen it says choose shots. We do that, and we are brought to our camera roll, which my kids have used this, so I'm not sure what pictures are going to be on here since then. I do have stuff here from our ISTE trip in Philadelphia, so I'm going to use some of that footage as an example. So here's a photograph clip. I'll choose that first. Notice it puts number 1 on it, so it lets you know that's going to come up first. The next clip I'll put is from the aquarium. I'll do that photo. Then the next one I'm going to choose, instead of that 16-second long video, I don't want 16 seconds, because remember, I'm only working with 60 seconds total here. I want just like maybe 3 or 4 seconds of that. So right within the app, I can go down here to Edit, and I'll touch Edit, and then touch the clip. And it brings up a nice little trim video. So I can say maybe right around where the little sea creatures are, from there to there. I want to use just that segment. I'll play it. Actually, that's plenty. I'll just go like that and save. So now look how long that is. Now it's edited and it's 3 seconds instead of that long. So I can do that all within this app. Now it did not destroy that video clip. This is called non-destructive editing. The video clip is still sitting on my camera roll in its full length, but within this app I can selectively choose which shots or which portions of the shot that I want. So let's do a couple more pictures, and I'll leave it at that. I got 6 so far. I can go up to 10 in this case. So I'm going to go to Save up in the corner. Now, step 2, I'm not going to do this time around. I'm not going to film myself. I'm not going to talk about it, no narration. I just want to assemble those together. So in the upper right-hand, I got a point there, upper right-hand corner is the skip button. And we go on to step 3 where you can choose music. Now you don't have to choose music here, but I like to. So we'll choose music at the bottom, it says. It comes with theme music. The ones that you see that are grayed out, or actually not grayed out, there's a lock symbol next to it. That's what you get if you're a paid subscriber. So like many of these app developers, they want you to know a lot of stuff's available. If you want it all, you got to pay for it. But the first 9 are available to play. It'll work, yeah. So sure, let's go with that song.
I knew you were going to pick that.
Now I'm proud to say this feature exists because in version 1, I asked Matt Singer, the developer of this app, to come up with it. So in version 2, he put it in. Because sometimes you need, oh, I'm not narrating, so it might not make sense here, but sometimes you need more music, less voice. And sometimes you need the opposite, more voice, less music, because it depends on how you recorded your voice when you made the narration. So you can choose between and find kind of the happy medium between balance of music and balance of narration. And then after that, we hit play. And it has some intelligent editing where it knows where the faces are, so it tries to never exclude them. So it'll make its pans and zooms automatically around that segment. And you do want to make sure, again, they're landscape shots, because if these are tall shots, it might crop out the wrong spot of the picture. So in this case there, and you have no control over the direction of those pans and zooms. That's all automatic. That's part of the algorithm. So that put together, that's what I call a level 1 video. I could share that out now on Facebook, on Twitter, simply send it to my camera roll, just so I have it for archival purposes. So I would hit save in the corner, and it would do that. So that was the process of doing a level 1 video. Let's take you now back to what I would call a level 2 video. Level 2 intermediate here, where now I'm going to narrate a story, but maybe I'm camera shy, or maybe I just took a shower and I'm in my pajamas and I don't want to be singing on here. But I want to narrate and get this done tonight, so I'll do that with a mic only, no camera, with a level 2 style video. So we'll go back, 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 and here we are back on step 1 again. All right, so we shall go to choose shots. This time around I can pick some different shots. And you can see the ones that I have edited already, notice they have like a white square around them. That just tells me that I've edited them, that if I needed more from that clip I could get more. So I'll go with this.
So when does it go back to being the 16 second?
You would have to tap on it and undo it essentially.
Oh, okay.
And you'd go like that and like that, then save it. And now it's back to its unedited format. Yeah. So it's non-destructive. It won't make it that permanent. All right, so let's say we'll do this, and then a picture. Just in the interest of time, I'll just choose 4 for now. Hit save. Step 2, tell your story. I'm going to tell it, so I'll hit that. And it says load your camera, but again, I don't want to be on camera. So if you can see up, can I point here? Where's my hand? Up over here. All right, see it says import. I could import a pre-recorded clip if I had one already, or I can touch that button to change it to mic only. And there we go. So now the microphone is going to be active. And in the bottom corner, bottom left corner, notice it's green there. It's showing me right here the level of my voice. So if I move it farther away, you see that it's not really going even halfway. But if I get my face even closer, now we're kind of halfway up the marker. So that's a little bit more ideal. And in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to be tapping the picture or photo or video clip. I'll be tapping that piece of content when I want it to come in. So that takes away the post-editing piece altogether, because I'm kind of editing as I'm talking. So here we go. I'll hit record. So you can see that. Hi everybody, it's Rob Z giving you a tour of our trip to ISTE. First you're seeing us at the TGI Fridays at the hotel. Next is a shot here of the nice aquarium we went to. A lot of cool stuff to see there. And then we saw the Rocky statue, of course. Look at that line there. People actually had to wait in line just to get their picture with the statue. And finally, here's Oakley and Owen in front of this real tall water thing, which when it was windy, they got all wet when they were too close. So I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day. All right, so it creates a preview instantly, so I can hit play. And our audio now, because I'm hooked up this way, you might not hear it. That's the downside, because I'm projecting it. That's why you're not hearing it. I always run into this issue. But just imagine my voice is talking now. I'm talking through the clips, and is a quick way to create a narrated video. So if I was happy with that, I'd hit save, and then I would be able to add music to it if I wanted to, or I could skip it, and then again save it out to the camera roll, or it gives you, I can show you, it gives you options to put it onto social media right from the app, which looks like this. So you can send it simultaneously to all these places. By default, it saves on the camera roll, so you don't ever have to worry about choosing that option, because that's what it does by default. But in addition to that, if you connect up your social media accounts, or you can email it out, you can do these simultaneous sharing methods. And I always tell my students, make sure you watch it first before you decide to send it out. Because you might send it out and say, oops, I forgot something, it's not right, now I gotta resend it again. And they'll learn that the hard way, I guess, after they send it and then realize there was a mistake and have to resend it. But I do give them that heads up in advance just to remember, when you send stuff out there, it's going out pretty much in real time. So as soon as it's done publishing, it'll post it to all those places.
So do your students have access to all of those?
They do,
Social media?
Yep, and they could technically on their device set it up, but the problem is it's blocked on our school network.
Yeah,
At least when I was at Amherst.
Any of that.
So if they hit Facebook, it would try to pull up the page where you log into Facebook, and because they're on the network, it would block that from happening.
Mine allows YouTube, so you can use YouTube, email, and it just will block those two, so they can try to use it, and it doesn't interfere in any other way.
Right.
So because mine's blocked on all of that, how would I have my kids then upload? Where would they?
Well, you would do what my preferred way is save it to the camera roll,
Yeah.
and then once it's on the camera roll,
Then
they would open up Google Drive,
Gotcha.
and they would upload it to their Google Drive account.
Gotcha.
And now that it's there, possibilities are endless. You can share it out with whomever and control access that way.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
What do you do to prepare the kids about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate?
Yeah, before I even get into this kind of stuff, we spend weeks at a time really talking about internet safety, digital citizenship, show them bad examples so they understand that. Actually, there's a project I would do too where they Google themselves and create a portfolio about what was found online that they didn't know was online. So there's a lot of prep work, at least in my curriculum, that I would go through first before I do things like this.
And you can see Rob used his student's name earlier, Ben,
Mhm.
his first and last name. There was consent provided for anything that he's putting out there today. I think sometimes as a teacher, we often take pictures of things that have student names or student information on. We just really need to make sure that we're following those policies of the school, but also the digital citizenship.
Do you have the parents sign up?
The district does that, yeah. At least the district I was at does that. They have, just like in the beginning of the year when all those paperwork go home, there was one that said my child can or cannot be on the district website, can and cannot be in newspapers in the
Can or
district.
cannot be photographed? We have that in Canton as well.
Yeah.
What if they can't be photographed? You would just do everything only voice?
Then I just would make sure it doesn't end up on our morning show. They would still go through and make the project, share it through Google Drive, because that's still a closed environment, but I wouldn't take it outside of Google Drive. So.
How do I make an account? I have the app now, but it only has a sign in. It doesn't have a way to make an account.
You don't even need to.
Yeah, I haven't even been, I have been using this without being signed in.
Oh, okay. You just start out
Yeah,
without it.
so you don't
Okay.
even need to. Notice mine in the upper right says sign in.
Yeah.
I don't even bother with it.
Oh, okay.
The only advantage to that by signing in with your free account is then it will store your finished products in a cloud-based account for you, in a
okay.
Videolicious account. But I don't really need that feature, so I don't even bother
Yeah.
with the sign-ins. And because these are used by multiple students throughout the day, there's no worry about having to sign out and sign in each period. So we didn't even bother with any signs in.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So for our last 2 minutes here that we have, we'll do the grand finale of the Level 3 Advanced newscaster style, meaning we're using the camera, we're using the mic, and we're pretending we're a newscaster being seen on camera, doing what's called a stand-up, where you introduce the theory, then you bring it into some B-roll footage where you still narrate over it, and then at the end bring yourself back on camera. So kind of like you would see on a news reporter on a TV station. My topic today is my trip to ISTE. So I have some shots there we'll continue to use that I haven't used yet. So step one, choose our shots. We will choose this time around, let's see, the steak thing from Tony Luke's. Let's see, what else we have? We did a lot of aquarium stuff. Oh, we got to have running up the stairs there. We'll have a shot of the city, the solar pope, because the pope is coming to Philadelphia, and the flying museum thing. And then that should do it. That's good for now. 5 things. All right, so then I'll hit save. Step 2, we're going to tell our story. This is where having a device like this can help. Yeah, I know. I had it in Do Not Disturb mode, but I guess those are not disabled. Just ignore that for now, because I don't want to go into settings and get that interrupted.
And can you use it like an iPhone 4, or do you have to have a lightning cable device?
You could use an iPhone 4, because that's only if you're doing a live demonstration like I'm doing now. If you have an older device and you're not doing demonstrations, then yeah, that would be okay. That would work. All right, well, assume that I had the right ideal situation if this table was higher. Hit record. Hi everybody, Rob Z here, and we're going to take you on a tour of ISTE. Let's first take a look at Tony Luke's. Now Tony Luke's has these steak subs that were very delicious, and we found out about them on the Food Network, so we just had to go there. Now, of course, whenever you go, you want to run up the stairs to Philadelphia. It's kind of an iconic thing. Here's a shot when you're at the top of the stairs looking the opposite way down the city landscape. And the Pope is coming, I guess, this fall, so the solar Pope was like a gift that all the tourists seemed to be buying when we were there. And one of our favorite places here was the museum, where they were doing some sort of aerodynamic type thing. The kids loved that piece there. So I hope that you liked that video tour, and I have plenty more to show, but I'll just give you a taste of it for now. Thanks for watching.
You can see very minimal delay from him recording live and what was on the screen. I mean, very minimal.
All right, yeah, and I can't, because I'm hooked up here, I can't play the audio, but you hear my voice talking, you see as I'm talking, you see the B-roll footage showing up, and I knew that that picture was coming up because I could see in the bottom right corner, you know, I tapped it manually to go there. Now in a video clip like that was only like a 4-second video clip, so it automatically advanced to the next picture, so you have to be careful with that. That last picture was shot in the tallway, and you notice the problem with that was it cropped it in the wrong spot. So if you had to go and fix that, you'd be able to go back and delete that and go back and edit that shot. So that is the workflow. After that, I choose my music like I did before and publish it out to the camera roll.
One little thing